Time to round up one of our big stories from the week. The ISIS terror group beheads a fourth hostage. Their latest victim, British aid worker Alan Henning. He was in Syria delivering aid to impacted residents when he was taken. The video posted Friday is the latest act of terror in what the group says is in response to U.S.-led airstrikes in Iraq and Syria, which Britain supports. Now the group claims to be holding another hostage, identified as American Peter Kasig. Several U.S. lawmakers say more must be done to stop ISIS. And that's our topic this half hour. We want to hear from you on our Fox 26 Facebook page. You can weigh in on Twitter as well. Be sure to use the hashtag Fox26forlife. In our newsroom again, we have our legal analyst, Chris Tritico, our news analyst, Mustafa Tamiz, and public policy analyst, Jackie Bally. All right, what do you guys think? Could more have been done by the British government to stop the beheading of Henning?
Well, I'm not sure that anybody can do any more than we're doing right now until and unless someone says we're sending ground troops in. And the rest of the world isn't going to send in ground troops until the United States of America says we'll send in most of the ground troops. So I don't know that any more can be done. But I think a really positive move happened when Turkey joined the coalition in the last 48 hours, and they are going to send troops into, I believe, and we're going to check, but I believe both Iraq and Syria to assist the coalition. If they come in, Jackie Bally, to the Syrian side, that puts the Americans and Turkey bombing in Syria and the rest of the coalition bombing in Iraq. That really, I think, strengthens the whole program.
Yeah, and I think, unfortunately, with the beheading of this British citizen, that really alerted the Prime Minister, because at one point, as the President and Secretary of State John Kerry, they were trying to form this coalition, they really had, they were not well received, and they were not participating. So I think now that they see their citizens are at risk, you will see them to have the sense of urgency that we seem to feel that we need to have. And you know, as we're doing our airstrike campaign, on the ground, the ISIS unfortunately is still advancing. So we will have to do something on the ground. Originally, we were saying give the Kurds and give some military weaponry to help them in their fight, but something will have to happen on the ground, because airstrikes alone will not work.
And the problem is our program, we're going to teach the Kurds, teach the Iraqis how to fight, teach the Syrian rebels who we can trust, we think, how to fight. That's going to take at least a year. They'll have taken over the entire country by then.
Yeah, and so Turkey stepping in, as you said, it has a big impact. Turkey's always been in the northern border of Iraq. Now they're also getting in the edge of Syria, and their whole issue is that they're seeing the refugee population go into Turkey, and so they're trying to create a buffer zone so they have troops on the ground. I'm not sure if Turkey will ever get as engaged as we would want them to be, because not only it's a fighting on the ground. The parliament has voted for the military to get engaged, but what Turkey doesn't want is within its own borders suicide bombings to start occurring.
Well, but coming in at all, I think, will allow other countries to say, if Turkey's going to do it, we'll do it.
Well, I think because they have the troops and they're physically there, they're the best one strategic place to do this. But they have their own restrictions. So, but now what you have is you have air power, but you also have some ground troops, Turkish ground troops on the ground in the border of Syria.
So what's it going to take? You're now, I think, it seems to me, Jackie, that you're saying we may have to do a ground war here. What's it going to take to turn the rest of America around from extreme, right now the polling says there's no way.
And I actually feel, I have that same sentiment. I mean, how many more wars are we going to enter? However, when you see our citizens and residents being attacked the way they are by these terrorists, something will have to happen, and doing airstrikes is not going to be the answer.
Let me go to Sally. She's monitoring our social media.
Yeah, we'll check in with a couple of tweets that we've been seeing come up on Twitter here about this topic. Jake says he's sort of tired of getting on social media and seeing the news that ISIS releases another beheading video. Something more needs to be done. And Mark, frustrated with Prime Minister David Cameron, says get more done. Rest in peace, Alan Henning. Sorry our government didn't do more for such a precious life. I mean, you're not going to find a lot of people who don't think that more needs to be done. Yeah.
Well, the problem, Sally, is everybody agrees that we need to do more. But we all understand that more means we have to send our ground troops, our young men and women, back over to the Middle East to fight another war on the ground that the public is just not ready to say, okay, let's do more, but don't send troops.
Yeah, the public's not ready, and also, ISIS is very vile. It's very violent, and we should do everything like the public, all of us say, do something about it. But at the same time, what do we do? Because even if you send ground troops there and you make Assad's regime weaker somehow
then who comes in?
Then who comes in?
Yeah, but I do think the more we see these beheadings, the more you're going to see a shift in the sentiment like you're seeing our viewers.
All right, we're going to leave it right there. We'll be back in the next hour with 2 really good stories.